Hello friends! Today we're making few types of shortcakes without taking up too much time. All cakes are dairy and egg-free. In the end, you'll get 6 types and 6.5 kilograms of cakes. First, we'll cook everything that needs to be cooked and cooled. 300 grams of raspberries. 200 grams of sugar. And 100 milliliters of water. We put it on the stove and wait for it to boil. Meanwhile, measure out 60 grams of cornstarch and mix it with 100 milliliters of water. The raspberries, sugar, and water have boiled, and we left it to cook for 1 minute. Now we'll mix in the previously prepared cornstarch. Stir until it thickens. Once thickened, remove from the heat. Add 100 grams of margarine. Stir until it melts. After everything has melted, set it aside to cool. In another container, pour 250 milliliters of water. Measure out 100 grams of sugar. Add the sugar to the water and put it on the stove to boil. While waiting for the water to boil, mix 40 grams of vanilla pudding with 100 milliliters of water. We'll add 1 vanilla sugar here as well. Once the water and sugar have boiled, mix in the pudding. Remove the cooked pudding from the heat. Add 50 grams of white vegan chocolate. Stir until it melts. Once the chocolate has melted, add 50 grams of margarine. And continue stirring. When the margarine melts, set this cream aside to cool. While the previous 2 fillings cool, make the third one. Pour 250 milliliters of water, 150 grams of sugar, 75 grams of margarine, and 100 grams of cocoa cream tablets. Now wait for it to melt. While waiting for everything to melt, measure out 200 grams of ground biscuits and measure 75 grams of ground walnuts. Grate orange zest and squeeze the juice from the same orange. Once it starts to boil, stir gently and add the ground biscuits, walnuts, juice, and orange zest. Then mix everything together. Cook for a few minutes until everything combines. Remove this filling from the heat and let it cool. With a sharp knife, cut the Rozen layers in half. On half a board or tray, place half of these layers. Then alternately spread the red and yellow fillings, raspberry and vanilla. Place the third layer, and then smooth everything by hand. Spread the other half with the filling made of biscuits, walnuts, and orange. After spreading the last layer, smooth everything by hand again and press with something heavy. These 2 cakes are done and go into the fridge. For the third cake, pour 300 milliliters of water into a pot, 400 grams of sugar, 1 whole margarine or 250 grams, and 200 grams of cocoa cream tablets. Leave everything on the heat to melt. Meanwhile, we measured 400 grams of ground biscuits and 300 grams of blended unsalted peanuts. They can be half ground, half chopped. Once everything has melted and boiled, add the biscuits and peanuts. Cook briefly until it thickens and combines, then remove from the heat. Grease a baking pan of 30 by 20 centimeters or slightly smaller dimensions with a thin layer of oil to make it easier to remove the cakes later. Pour the entire mixture into the mold. Smooth everything out. Once smoothed, pour melted chocolate on top. Melt 100 grams of cocoa cream tablets with 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil. Finally, sprinkle with peanuts. This cake also goes to the fridge. Next, we'll make 2 types of wafers, so we'll cut one in half. In a small pot, pour 300 grams of sugar and let it caramelize, occasionally shaking the pot. Meanwhile, measure out 200 grams of ground biscuits and measure 200 grams of walnuts. Choose whether they will be blended or chopped. We have prepared a board, put parchment paper on it, and 1 wafer sheet so that the rough side is up. Once the sugar has melted, add 2 full tablespoons of any light jam or honey. Then add 250 grams of margarine. You saw the reaction, now it has separated. But when it melts, it will combine. Once everything has melted and combined, add the biscuits and walnuts. Now mix to combine everything. This mixture is not like classic nougat, where you have to hurry, because it sets quickly. Here it sets more slowly, so you can work at a steady pace. This mixture is done, and we take it off the heat. Pour the entire mixture onto the wafer. Spread it evenly. Place the other half of the wafer on top. Press down. Now it will leak a little on the sides. We'll smooth everything out. So with this wafer, there are no scraps at all. We'll fold these edges. Press down a bit, put something on top, and place it in the fridge. Let's move on to the second wafer. Put 200 grams of sugar, 200 grams of margarine, 100 grams of chocolate, and 10 tablespoons of water. Put everything on the stove. Meanwhile, measure 300 grams of vegan ground biscuits and 200 grams of roasted ground hazelnuts. Once everything is melted, add the biscuits and hazelnuts. This will combine quickly, and as you can see, it's almost done. Stir a bit more and take it off the heat. Spread 1/4 of this filling on the wafer. Place another wafer on top and press down firmly. Repeat the filling process. With this wafer, the filling might crumble if you overcook the filling. If it hardens, put everything back, add water, and stir. Cooling. 200 grams of ground biscuits, 100 grams of powdered sugar, 50 grams of ground walnuts, and 3 tablespoons of apricot jam. Add jam as needed to even out the mixture. Once everything is mixed, add 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. Mix everything again. And now add jam as needed. Mix everything again. Now mix by hand. The mixture you get at the end should be like this, slightly sticky to the hand, but compact. Mix 100 grams of softened margarine with 100 grams of powdered sugar. After mixing, add 50 grams of ground walnuts. We placed parchment paper on the table. Take the entire mixture. Place another parchment paper on top and flatten. To make these edges straight, fold the paper. Continue shaping. Spread the filling. All that remains is to roll it up. After wrapping, place it in the fridge. I melted the cocoa cream tablet with oil. And now we'll glaze this choco Rosenka. Shake the cake left and right to even out the glaze. Let it set. With the remaining chocolate, I'll drizzle the wafer. All that's left is to cut all the cookies. Press the subscribe button and then the bell to get regular updates when we post a new video. Done! This is the quantity we got. All that's left is to arrange the cookies.